Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. I'm so glad you could join me today. I have a pretty little card for you that uses a different technique to get some color in the background. And so I thought I would share that with you today. It's the sentiment on it says, enjoy the little things. So let's just get started. Okay, here is my card. It says enjoy the little things, and then it's got a similar kind of look on the inside of the card. And I'm going to change it up just a little bit today. So let me start by showing you what stamp set I'm using. I'm using this stamp set. It's called Friend Like You. And there's my enjoy the little things. And I used this little bit of grass, but I think on this one I'm going to use this one with this piece that's going to make it quite a bit longer. I think I like the idea. This looked a little stunted to me, so I want something that's longer and a little bit more elegant. And I am going to put more layers on the inside of my card. So that is the stamp set I'm using with that sentiment, and it's got these cute little dragonflies on it. The other thing is I made this on white and then used soft suede as my color for my ink, and so I decided instead to use a very vanilla base. So I have a very vanilla card base, and I'm going to just burnish that to give myself a nice fold. The pieces that I have for the top of this are a couple. So I have a piece of soft suede, actually two pieces of soft suede that are 4 by 5 1/4, one for the outside and then one for the inside. And then I have two pieces of very vanilla. Okay, so for the inside very vanilla piece, I have one that is 3 3/4 by 5, and that's going to sit right on top here and be the piece on the inside. Then for the outside, my piece is again 4 by 5 1/4, but the piece that I'm going to do my coloring on is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And what I've done is I used the 4th largest of my stitch rectangle die, and I cut out this piece of paper. I actually cut several pieces of this paper, and it's just copy paper. And so I made several of these little frames, and then I put a little bit of repositioning glue on the back side of it, and then I centered this very vanilla piece, the 5 1/8 by 3 7/8 on here, so that it would be centered on the front. And we're going to color to get this little patch of color going on this, and then I've got the stamps that I've got set up on my Stamparatus, and we'll figure out where we're going from there. So let's go ahead and get started. So there is my piece that I'm going to be doing some coloring on, and then I have my other piece that is for the inside that we're going to end up doing a little bit of coloring on as well, and stamping. So I'm going to start by putting some scratch paper down, and the colors of ink that I'm using, I am using Seaside Spray. I wanted some blue that was very light. Seaside Spray, Granny Apple Green, and then I'm using Coastal Cabana to get the colors here in the center of the card. Then I am using soft suede for my sentiment and my cattails here. And then for the greenery, I'm actually using old olive because I wanted something that was stark and a bit darker. I have all of my stamps mounted here, and I have my sponges here all ready to go. So I'm going to open my ink and we'll get started. And I'm starting with the blue. So I've got my Seaside Spray. Yep, that one doesn't want to open that way. So I have my sponges ready here. See, this one is Coastal Cabana. Let's see, this one is blue and this one is the green. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you here. I've got my ink on my sponge, and what I want to do is make it a little bit darker here in the corner and just have the edges of it flow away. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to knock a little bit of that ink off of there, and I'm going to start off the card, and you can see here I'm going to just add some color right along the edge here and down across the bottom in this beautiful Seaside Spray blue. And this is a way to get a frame on your card without actually putting a frame on it. And so I'm going to knock off some of that blue again and get some of this blue, and my intention is to have it be very narrow at the top, very little bit here at the bottom, and sort of coming through the center. So I am adding my blue, and you could do this with a blending brush, you could do it with a sponge, you could do it with a dauber if you're very, very careful. And there I've got some of that blue on there. I think I want it a little bit deeper. And maybe just a touch of it across the card. Okay, now I can always go back and add more. Now I'm going to add the green, and I'm going to do that same thing, knock a little bit of it off and cover that same area and get some green on this piece of paper. And you'll get no two that come out exactly alike, and that's okay. Sometimes you get just a really pretty representation of the colors, and you could do this in any color combination. For fall, this would be beautiful in oranges and yellows and browns. And let's see, I'm going to add just a little bit more of that green right here in the corner. Then I'm going to go to my Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to go right up on top of that and get some of that pretty Coastal Cabana on my card front here. I can see that I've got more green on here than anything else. I'm going to go back to my blue, and I'm going to add some blue and knock that green down just a little. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to add just a little bit of that green across here. Okay, so there we go. Now what I'm going to do is also on this piece, I'm going to go back and put a little bit of this same color on the inside, just right here along this corner, just to get a little bit of those colors here for my decoration for the inside. There we go. Just want to get a little bit of that color down on the inside of the card. All right, well, now I've got a smudge, so I'll have to figure, well, maybe we can put a sequin on that. All right, so that is the coloring I'm going to do there, and then next I'm going to do some stamping. And I've got my Stamparatus set up here for my photopolymer stamps, and I've got my cushion in here, and I set this up. Let me peel off this repositional taped piece here, and there you can see we've got our color down, and isn't that just pretty? All right. Okay, I set this up to fit this snugly into the corner here, and then to have the card come right along this outside edge, and I'm going to set up my magnet right there, and then I have my, well, let me put these inks away because I don't think I'll be needing these anymore. Now what I have set up on my Stamparatus is, I don't know, let me make sure you can see that. Yeah, what I have set up in here, I'm going to put one of these underneath here to give it a little support, is I have my green stalk here, my grassy piece, and I'm going to cover that whole thing in Old Olive and put that in place. I think I wanted that down just a little bit further, so I'm going to clean that off and then reposition that a little. So I've got my chamois here, and I wanted this piece to start down off the coloring and off the side of the coloring to one side. I think about like that. Okay, now I'm going to pick this up, and it probably means I'm going to have to reposition this other stamp as well. So I think I'll just take that off until I'm ready for it. All right, so there we go. And now I'll do that again. I'm going to re-ink that in my Old Olive to get my grass. Okay. And I'm going to re-ink that one more time. That's the beauty of the Stamparatus. If it isn't perfect, you get to do it again. And there I've got my image on there just the way I want. Now I'm going to just turn this door around. I'm going to clean off this stamp before I do that and get ink all over my hands. And I'm going to set this up on this side, and then this little stamp goes over the top here and adds some flowers and these sort of reedy things coming off the top of the stems, and you can place it on here so that it pretty much covers exactly the way you want. So I'm now going to pick that one up. I'll take this one off, and what I'm going to do is use my markers to color in the individual pieces here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my brown to get these get some a little bit of Post-it note here so that I don't get any of that brown ink where I don't want it. So I just want to ink up those two little pieces there in the brown ink. And what I'm going to do is to go ahead and stamp those two pieces straight away. There we go. Now I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to color in these little flowers here in Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to color those pieces. There we go. And because I'm doing it on my Stamparatus, I can get them again and get my color a little bit more intense. And this is just a strategy for getting color down. And you can use your Stamparatus and do one element at a time like this and get it stamped exactly the way you want. Now I'm going to clean off the purple, and I've got the purple and the brown gone now, and I have two little flowers, and I'm going to do them in Lovely Lipstick. No, Poppy Parade. So I'm going to color in these two little flowers. They almost look like little bugs, but they're flowers. And put those in here. People will wonder how you got all of these colors in there, but that's the beauty of this system, is that we can stamp it again and again until we get it exactly the way we want it. So I'm going to color those again and re-stamp those two pieces, and look at that. I've got exactly what I want in the way of a colorful little piece in this corner. All right, now I can take this off my Stamparatus, because I think the rest of these I'm going to just use blocks and do my stamping. Now I have my piece that it says enjoy the little things, and actually I think what I'm going to do is bring back my Stamparatus here, just because it's got the cushion already set up on it, and I can set that down here and do my stamping right over the top. And this one is a stamp where everything is off center. So I think what I'm going to try and do is get the enjoy straight and have the little things be off to the side. So there we go. enjoy the little things. Isn't that pretty? Now then, I have got my little dragonflies. I'm going to go back to my Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to do my little dragonflies in Coastal Cabana kind of right up here on my card. And when that dries, I'm going to put some Wink of Stella on those little dragonflies. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I just love the way this looks. And I love the color. Now, either one of those is pretty, but I think this is a little unexpected. So now we have to go back to this piece, which is where we have need to do some stamping on the inside of the card. I'm going to set this one up here and go back to my old olive ink. And I'm going to put this little piece of grass right down here in the corner. There we go. Now, I got some smudges, so I'm going to have to do some work. And I'm going to use a little piece of that scratch paper. And on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my soft suede, and I'm going to make the inside just a little bit different. I'm going to use the cattail tops. So this comes with 3 little cattails, and if you do it right here, you can put down your just a little bit of something here to mask and set the cattails down. But I'm thinking that a cattail, and I'm just inking up one of the little cattails here and adding it to the top of the image. And I'm going to do that on around this side here as well. And maybe one right in here. But there we go. So now I have 2 smudges I have to take care of. So I can do that with my sand eraser. But I think that's now ready to go on our card. And then I have my pieces of soft suede and my card base. Let's see, my other piece is soft suede. And I'm going to put some tape runner on the back side of this piece. And I'm going to set that down on my piece of soft suede and put that into place. Okay, off camera I have taken off my little smudges, and I've decided I think I do want these little dragonflies on the inside of the card. So I'm going to grab my Coastal Cabana and just add those 2 little dragonflies to the top of my card here. Here we go. All right. Now then, I'm going to add, that's ready to go on the inside of my card, and this piece needs to be added, and the border on this is ever so slight, just a tiny hint of a border. Okay, so this piece is going to go on here. And then this piece is going to go on the front of our card. And you can see that this, I mean, you can do it with a scalloped edge. You could do it with any number of things. It's just a matter of getting it, getting an offset so that you can put down your color. And there we go. Okay, now this piece is on the inside. And it's just a little bit different from the outside, but in the same vein. Now, I did add a few sequins onto this one, and I think I'll do the same on here. And I used some of our basic, I think they're called basic everyday sequins. And I used the ones that were iridescent. And they're clear, they're adhesive backed. Love anything that's adhesive backed with a sequin as long as it's not too big. So I have these, and grab a couple of these sequins. Gonna put one right down here in the corner. And I ended up putting 4 on that, and I generally don't like things that are even numbers. So maybe I will just put 3 on this one and pick up that. Then I did use a little bit of my Wink of Stella pen to go over the wings and the body of my little dragonflies. And because oftentimes dragonfly wings are very gossamer looking, and I thought that that would actually work well, and I'm going to do that to the ones on the inside as well. And there we go. That is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. You'll have to tell me what you think, whether you like the color or whether you'd like that. I mean, you could do that all in the dark brown and have it just be a silhouette and have the only color be the dragonflies, or even do them in silhouette. And this one was in white and this one was in the very vanilla, and I do think I like the very vanilla better. I also like how tall this image is. In fact, it could come even further off the bottom of this to show a little offset. But I'm really pleased with the way that they came out, and so you'll have to tell me what you think about which of those you like. This is now May, so my monthly drawing is going to be a bundle of your choice out of the new annual catalog, because by the time we get to the end of the month, the June catalog will be up and running, and most of you will have it in your hands, and so we can just pick something from there, and that way you can get something that's new and fun, and get something that you'd really like to have. I did want to share one thing before we go here, and part of the inspiration for doing this coloring is a lady on my team by the name of Noreen Brunkart. And Noreen has turned into a beautiful colorist, And it was looking at her cards and the color background that she had that kind of inspired me to do this. And so let me just move these to the side so I can show you a little bit of what she's been doing. Isn't that gorgeous? This is one, she goes on YouTube by the name of Joy of Cards, and she's got a channel, and you ought to stop by and see the stuff that she has in there. She does beautiful work, and this is one using that Mountain Air Suite, and then she did like shadows in the water. But her sun, either sunrise or sunset, and kind of a plains in front of the mountains. It's just beautiful. Very, very nice. She did 3 of them, and I asked her to send them to me. This was one that she did, and it's not even a card. She just got started on this, but it's got some of this color background, like a sunset, and the girl here, and some grass, and a little bit of this, and she just does such a beautiful job with the coloring. I thought I would share that with you, and this one is spectacular. Look at that, using that beautiful big tree, and again the reflection in the water, and it says words are never enough. Boy, isn't that true with that one. It's just stunning. And again, her name is Noreen Brungart, B-R-U-N-G-A-R-D-T, and she has both a blog and a YouTube channel under the name of Joy of Cards. And I know she'd get a kick out of having some people go over and take a look at some of her work. She's a real interesting personality. A little Irish redhead. And so there's her things, and I was looking at hers and thinking I wanted to do something that had the background color, and this is what I came up with for my card. So again, thanks for stopping by, and let's see, I'm going to do a drawing also for this video, and we have so many things that are retiring, and I have just a ton of things, and I'm going to give away a little grab bag of all kinds of interesting things that will be retiring, and probably have a value of $25 or $30. And so just make a comment below, and if you share the video, then I'll put you in the drawing, and I'll pick a name in a couple of days, and we'll just go forward from there. So thanks again, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.